Hey Samuels, what the heck were you thinking? You didn't even finish putting together the presentation that's supposed to be submitted tomorrow. What made you think it was alright for you to go home?
Hello, Steve. I'm sorry I didn't have the chance to tell you directly before I left the office, but there's a perfectly legitimate reason why I left the office. The presentation that you're talking about, is this the one that's for Millennium Works?
Yeah, that's the one.
Well, my manager said that he'll finish it up, so I'm sure that it's already been taken care of. And he was the one who insisted that I go home early today.
Your manager? You mean Harvey Brewster? Why did he have to finish it up? And why wasn't I informed of this? I'm the project leader for this client.
Well, the client called late this afternoon to inform us of a sudden change in plans. Since you were out of the office for a different client meeting and were already planning to go home straight afterwards, Harvey decided to handle this request himself. But he also said that he was going to follow up and email you about this straight away. Didn't you receive any kind of message from him?
What? Oh, wait, never mind. There's a missed call from him. I guess I didn't notice because my phone was on silent.
I see. Well, I'm glad that at least there wasn't any sort of miscommunication then.
No, but what I'm saying is that you should have been the one to let me know, and not Harvey. I'm the lead on this project, and you're my assistant. Shouldn't it be your duty to give me the update as soon as possible?
Yes, but Harvey insisted that he had no problem calling you after he finished working on the presentation documents. And I had no reason to question him otherwise. I didn't think that it would be such a big deal either.
Well, maybe it wasn't a big deal for you because you were able to get out of doing extra work, but I completely embarrassed myself because of you.
What do you mean?
How can you be so indifferent all the time? It just irritates me that you're always so nonchalant about everything. Don't you have any awareness of your position in this company? You're one of the newest employees here, so you should have more respect for your superiors. Which means that you don't put the responsibility of finishing a client presentation on your manager or making them relay messages from the client. Who do you think you are anyways, leaving the office with unfinished tasks? That's why your generation is so hard to work with. You hardly take responsibility for your own actions.
Steve? Are you drinking by any chance? You sound much more aggressive than usual.
So what? What's it to you if I'm out drinking?
Well, I was just concerned for your well-being. You've come into work previously with a hangover, and it's seriously affected your performance. So I just wanted to remind you that tomorrow is another workday. It's exactly what you said about being responsible for your own actions. We have the meeting with Millennium Works tomorrow morning, so perhaps it's best to keep your drinking to a reasonable level.
You have some nerve, you know?
Huh? What do you mean?
Well, first of all, let's talk about your house.
My house? What does that have to do with anything that we're discussing right now?
I've never met any 22-year-old who owns a house in such a high-end neighborhood, especially when I can barely afford my one-bedroom apartment. It just doesn't make sense. How do you have so much money, even with so little work experience?
That's not exactly how it is. You don't even know the actual situation. But if you really must know, the house belongs to my parents. They're living abroad right now, so I'm staying here in the meantime. You know, keeping a watch while they're away. That's why I'm living in this house alone right now.
I said that's enough. You think you're really smart with all your comebacks, huh? But I bet you have no idea who I really am, do you?
Who are you? Aren't you my colleague, working on the same client project right now?
Don't act like such a smarty pants. You don't even know half the story. Listen carefully, because I'll only say this once. Back when I was a teenager, I used to be known as one of the top honchos of the local gangs in my neighborhood. You get what I'm trying to say now? Anyway, when it came to fighting, there was no one who even came close to taking down more enemies than me. And I've never lost a one-on-one fight before. My nickname back then used to be Nutcracker because, well, I guess it's pretty self-explanatory. There even used to be this legend about me, about the time that I once sent a total of 1,000 enemies to the hospital in a matter of just 30 seconds.
That's a bit hard to believe, because if you just do the math, it means that it took you just 0.03 seconds to knock out each person, which just seems unrealistic.
Huh?
That sort of superhuman stuff only happens in video games. Unless you're saying that you've transmigrated from a different reality, then maybe you actually do have superhuman powers like that.
Stop mocking me. All I'm saying is that I'm unbeatable in a fistfight, and you're not any different than any of the enemies that I took down back then. If we were to face off in a one-on-one fight, I promise that you'll be waking up in a hospital bed. So take this as a warning that you should know better than to anger me anymore. And especially if you want to keep your jaw intact. Anyways, let's see what will happen tomorrow. But let me tell you one last time that you don't want to mess with the wrong guy. I'm looking forward to seeing how this meeting will turn out tomorrow.
Can I say something here, if you don't mind? Perhaps you shouldn't make such pretentious remarks so offhandedly.
What do you mean?
I believe that the kind of threats you're making are in violation of our company's compliance rules.
You're kidding, right? You're not trying to oppose me or anything, are you? Or maybe you think that you can try and teach me the difference between what's right and what's wrong. If so, you've got some nerve.
But what's wrong is wrong, regardless of your position at work, and I have every right in pointing that out. Besides, I think it's absolutely unacceptable for a decent adult to be so irrational.
You better watch your mouth. I don't think that I'll forgive you for what you've said. Hey, Samuels, do you want to know something? I just happened to pass by your house the other day, by coincidence, I promise. But anyway, I saw you invite a really beautiful woman inside your house. And I just happened to notice that she came out of that mansion next to your house. So, who is she? Is she your girlfriend or something?
Hello, Steve. I never imagined that you would message me about a non-work related matter. When did this take place exactly?
Yesterday.
Oh, then perhaps you're talking about Princess B?
Princess B? What is that, a nickname or something?
Well, her real name is Bernadette, and she's the only daughter in that family, so everyone calls her Princess B.
So she does live in that mansion. She must be really loaded.
Oh, but she's not my girlfriend or anything. We're just close friends, but it's nothing more than that. B and I both have a love for reading, and we've always borrowed each other's books ever since we were young. So it's pretty normal for us to go to one another's houses from time to trade reading materials and talk about whatever interesting books we've read. It's like a book club, but just for the two of us.
I see. She's a rich, only child with a love for books. And you said that she's not your girlfriend, right?
That's right.
Okay, that settles it then. I want you to introduce that beautiful woman to me right away.
Excuse me?
A woman like that deserves to have a man of great physical strength by her side, and I'm the perfect candidate for that. I told you how strong I was, right?
I'm sorry, but I can't introduce her to you.
What do you mean? Haven't you been listening to anything I've said? I won't hold back from using force if I have to. So are you still sure that you really want to disregard my demands like that? If you disobey me any more than this, I'll make you cry for your mama next. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
It's really not my place to say, but Princess B is already betrothed to someone else. That's what I meant to say when I said that I can't introduce you to her.
What? She's engaged? No, but that won't be a problem. It doesn't bother me because I just need to snatch her away from her so-called fiancé, right? For a legendary gangster like me, making a woman or two fall for me shouldn't be such a hard thing to accomplish.
I really can't recommend doing that, to be honest.
No, be quiet.
First of all, B's fiancé already has the full approval of her father, so it's probably best if you didn't try and interfere in their business. As someone who's known B's father for years, you really don't want to complicate anything that he's already set his mind on. I really recommend that you forget even setting eyes on B.
Yeah, right. Like I'm actually gonna back down from this opportunity because of some fiancé. I just know that she and I are the perfect match for each other. You may be too much of a coward to act on your desires, but I've always gone after what I want. And this time is no different. That woman will be mine. Just wait and see. Besides, do you really think that I'm gonna take your warning seriously? You're just all talk and no action. Your words mean nothing to me. perhaps you need a little lesson about how things work in the real world? Because it seems like you're still too young to understand the cutthroat reality of the adult world.
You can think what you want, but please, I hope that you'll at least give some consideration to what I'm saying. And whatever you do, don't try and get involved in B's personal relationships. Otherwise, things can get really bad for you.
Sure, like I'm really gonna believe anything that you say.
Anyways, I'm leaving for my business trip tomorrow morning, and I won't be back until next week. I'm gonna be accompanying Harvey to visit a client out of state. So please, don't try and do anything stupid. This is the last chance I have to convince you to stay out of their business, and I really don't think that you should ignore my warning. There's no guarantee that I'll be able to help you out if things get messy.
Whatever, you loser. Hey, Samuels. It's been a week, so you should be getting back from your business trip today, right?
Hello, Steve. I'm surprised that you even remembered. But yes, Harvey and I just got on the train. We should be back in the office in about 2 hours or so.
That's not what I'm asking. I couldn't care less when you're going to be back in the office. Besides, I'm not even at work today. I had the day off today, so I've been relaxing and enjoying a few beers at home.
But it's just after lunch. You're already drunk? How many have you had already?
That's none of your business, but I started off the day with a few sangrias at brunch this morning, if you must know. Oh, and another thing. I really couldn't understand how a little punk like you was even able to afford living alone in such a big house. But it's not only that. You even own a luxury car?
I've already explained why I live alone in that house. I'm just living there while my parents are abroad. But what luxury car are you talking about? I don't even own a car to begin with.
Stop lying. It was parked right in your driveway, so of course it's yours. I saw it parked there with my own 2 eyes. How can you even say that it doesn't belong to you?
Wait, are you talking about a black Mercedes sports car by any chance?
Yeah, that's right. See? So you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Well, yeah, it is a nice car.
It's not nice anymore.
What?
You heard me. I've just had it with your carefree ways, thinking that you can get everything handed to you on a silver platter. So, you know, as a legendary gangster myself, I took it as my duty to teach you a lesson or two about the importance of actually earning your status.
No, what did you do?
It means exactly what you think. Messed up, totaled, wrecked. After what I've done to it, I guarantee that you'll be too embarrassed to drive around in that anymore. Besides, it's your fault for thinking that you can flaunt around in that kind of car in the first place. I know how much it costs, and it's way out of your league for a newbie employee like you.
I can't believe what you just did. This is really bad. Why didn't you listen to anything I said last week?
Whatever. Oh, and you better not try and bill me for any repairs, because you will never see a single cent of my money. And anyway, if you do try and send me any bill, I'll wreck you the same way I did this car.
You don't understand, but that car belongs to the big boss from next door.
What?
He always has a lot of visitors, so he needs the extra parking space. And since I don't have a car, he asked me to let him use my driveway from time to time, which was totally fine with me. I also thought that it would be a good decision on my part to agree with whatever the boss requests. He's a very influential person, you know?
The boss?
Yes, remember how you were asking me about Princess B recently? The boss is her father.
The boss of what, though?
I don't know the exact details, but apparently he's the head honcho of some mob group.
You're kidding, right?
No, this is not a joke. That's why they live in such a huge mansion and drive a luxury car. B's family has always been involved in that kind of business.
No. Wait, this can't be happening. But why would someone with so much influence in that kind of business be trading books with a loser like you? Unless you're one of them as well.
Oh no, I'm just an ordinary citizen.
So how do you explain your relationship with them? It's not normal for a mobster family to be involved with a common nobody like you. Or do you have some dirt on B and her family or something?
It's nothing like that, but I heard that my father helped the boss get out of some sort of trouble way before I was born. It was a life or death situation, apparently, so the boss has always said that he owes his life to my father. And my family ended up moving next door to them because B's father insisted that we take that plot of land in return for saving his life. So we've been next door neighbors ever since. And B and I are pretty close in age, so we spent a lot of time together when we were kids as well.
So what? You guys are just regular neighbors? And from what you've said, the boss just seems like a normal, good-hearted person. Why did you have to scare me like that? I have nothing to worry about then.
Well, B's father is in fact a very kind and righteous person for the most part, but if you do him any injustice, you can be sure that he'll give you the kind of punishment that you deserve, which most of the time is something that you'll regret.
Wait, what's going on?
Huh? What do you mean?
There's a bunch of scary-looking men rushing out of that mansion.
Oh, those are probably his subordinates. They're all very loyal to the boss and have no mercy for anyone who tries to harm him or his family.
Are you serious? What should I do? Am I gonna be in a lot of trouble?
Oh, you probably shouldn't try and run away or anything.
Yeah, right, like I'm actually going anywhere right now. My legs have turned to jelly. I can barely stand up straight. As much as my mind tells me to get out of here, I'm stuck frozen to this spot.
Well, that's unfortunate for you, isn't it? But even if you were able to get away, I wouldn't recommend it. They'll still come after you regardless, until they chase you off the face of the earth. I'm sure that they won't let you get away with something like that easily, so it's meaningless to think that you can get away.
Samuels?
Steve, is that you? You've been calling out every day this week. I was wondering what's going on. And then you just gave in your resignation out of nowhere. Is everything okay?
You can stop it with your feigned ignorance. You know exactly what's been going on.
Well, but it's not like I know everything. For example, I have no idea where you are right now.
I wish I could tell you too, but I don't know either.
I'm only able to get in touch with you like this right now because I was able to get the boss's permission for just this one time.
Samuels, please, I really need you to help me. Will you try and smooth things over with the boss on my behalf?
What do you mean? There's nothing for me to intervene in. What exactly did you want me to ask for you?
Well, like about my treatment here.
No. I have no right to decide anything like that.
But you have to help me.
Steve, isn't it true that you've been hanging around B's house and trying to follow her around when she's out?
What?
Her father is more furious about that rather than what you did to his car.
But how was I supposed to know? I had no idea that her father was at the top of that mob group.
Well, it's not only her father who's furious. B's fiancée, who also happens to be second in command, was extremely angered about your behavior as well.
What did you say? Second in command?
It seems like the two top men of that group hold a bit of resentment towards you, and all because of your arrogance. That's why I try to warn you that you should stay away. There's nothing I can do to help you now. I'm just an ordinary citizen. You don't actually expect me to have any influence over such a large organization, do you?
But still.
Oh, they're telling me to finish up this conversation, so I should get going now.
Wait.
Good luck. Bye. After the incident involving the boss's luxury car, Steve stopped coming into the office suddenly. It was more than a week before we heard any news of him. Of course, the unexcused absences played a big part, but it was more his constant arrogance that the rest of us were most fed up with. As a matter of fact, a lot of us were more than happy to hear of his resignation. There's a much more positive vibe to the work environment now that Steve is no longer around to harass and insult people. On another note, all that talk about him being this legendary gangster back in the day was actually just a hoax. Well, he was indeed part of an actual gang, so at least that part of his story is true. But his position was way at the bottom of the rank. There were no such rumors about him being unbeatable in any fights, nor of him being responsible for sending any enemies to hospital. In fact, he was nothing more than a gopher, running errands for the high-ranked members. It's such a pity to know that he tried to make himself seem so much more important than he actually was. But in the end, he just got too carried away and really put himself in a bad position with the real deal mobsters. And that's as far as I know about what happened to him. Afterwards, I was told that it would be for my own good if I didn't ask about any further details, so I planned to heed to that advice. Although I did hear a rumor that he was relocated overseas to work somewhere outside of this country. But this is where I'm gonna stop, because I don't want to get any more involved in this, and I definitely don't want to end up like that somebody who decided to stick their nose too far into someone else's business. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to see more content.